Hey everybody, great Wednesday to you. I have to vlog about something that's really ticked me off. And it has to do with an email that I received from a viewer and a reader of our content at Zinnia62 Media, who said that, and I'm not even going to mention the mainstream media outlet, was reporting that black leaders were lobbied, and that's the reason for the Oakland Coal Ban not, going, or rather the Oakland Coal Ban being dropped. That is a complete lie. I'm not going to say who sent the email. They didn't want to be mentioned. I will simply say this, and I wrote about it right here at Oakland News Now, and I would love for you to read it. It's actually linked to, or at the bottom of this vlog, or will be. The title is Insight Terminal Solutions News: Oakland Coal Ban Overturned by Judge Vincent Chhabra, Not Black Leaders. And this will have a similar title when I'm done in a moment. But folks, it was San Francisco Federal District Court Judge Vincent Chhabra that made the decision to call for the ban of the Oakland Coal Ban. That's right. And this came about because Phil Tagami, the managing director of California Capital Investment Group, and a longtime friend of mine. Phil and I go back to 1991. Think about that. 1991, probably maybe longer than that if you count Skyline, but I digress. Phil filed a lawsuit against the city of Oakland because the city was actually a partner with Phil early on, and it was Pat Cashman who called for something called the Tioga Group study to see if the then bulk terminal, and now it's called Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal formally, but the bulk terminal project as it was being conceived could actually realize a market to haul commodities, including coal. Okay? So Cashman knew right up front, this is going as far back as 2011, really if you stretch it to 2010, this is 2019, 9 years ago, all right? 10 years ago, Pat Cashman knew that coal would be part of the commodity mix. The idea was never for the facility to be a coal terminal, as a number of activists and media people have incorrectly called it. Anytime you see that, that's wrong. But what really is burning me is for some media asshole, racist asshole, I said it just like that, to think that, black leaders have to be coerced or lobbied to support a bulk terminal that creates jobs. That's absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, it flies in the face of the fact that a number of people who are in favor of the bulk and oversized terminal and also heavy industry jobs are not black but white. And the headline that I was made aware of says black leaders. It's race baiting, folks. That is what it is. It has to be called out as such. And there are a number of people who have been members of the so-called mainstream media who call themselves journalists, who've been vomiting up their ugly institutional racism wherever it suits them. Only their opinion matters, nobody else's. They get to call out who is right and who's wrong, and no one else, and they're all white. If you're black, they set you down, unless, of course, you happen to be trumpeting only their message, and that's it. It's got to stop. There are a number of African Americans involved who are really pissed off with this, including clergy. So the organization that put out that garbage piece should be ashamed of themselves. In fact, they ought to rip it down. It's wrong. It's factually wrong. The man who was responsible for the ban, or for the overturning of the Oakland Coal Ban, was a San Francisco federal judge named Vincent Chhabra, who, by the way, is not black. He's Indian by descent. All the players I have listed right here, the piece that I wrote. There's Mr. Tagami. Here's Pat Cashman, who represented the city of Oakland and knew coal was involved, as well as iron ore and other bulk commodities that were proposed to be shipped. And this man is San Francisco Federal District Court Judge Vincent Chhabra, who overturned the Oakland Coal Ban. And he wrote a lengthy reason why that I'm not going to read in its entirety. But what he explains here is he says that development agreements are contracts between local governments and developers that freeze existing zoning and land use regulations into place. And then he goes on to write that these agreements are intended to provide developers with a measure of certainty that new and unexpected government regulations will not stymie their projects, particularly when the project requires years of investment, government approvals, and construction. Consistent with this general approach, the agreement between the City of Oakland and the Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal includes a provision that prevents the city from imposing new regulations on the terminal project after the date on which the city signed and adopted the agreement, the development agreement. And he basically goes on to say that the city has not identified what's called a substantial danger that will be caused by the project in the view of the judge. And he goes on to say that, goes on to write this that I think is most telling. And this is the entry that attacks the idea that the Insight Terminal Solutions CCIG Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal will add to the global warming problem. He writes this, and I quote, "The hostility toward coal operations in Oakland appears to stem largely from concern about global warming. To be sure, shipping coal for use in other countries will make some contribution to the accumulation of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere, and climate change is detrimental to public health and safety. But the city's argument that global warming allows it to invoke Section 3.4.2 of the development agreement barely merits a response. It's facially ridiculous to suggest that one operation resulting in the consumption of coal in other countries will, in the grand scheme of things, pose a substantial global warming-related danger to the people in Oakland." So that's the real reason why the Oakland Coal Ban was overturned. It had nothing to do with lobbying black leaders or anyone African American. But if the Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal is built, and it should be built, and it will be built, it will provide many basic jobs that African Americans in Oakland can fill, and help to stem the tide of basic jobs that cannot easily be replaced by automation that have been destroyed in Oakland. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube.